I want to show you guys this. So today, when it comes down to my trades, it just worked out really, really well. Every day is not like this. I mean, I don't know if it's just me. Feel free to share your thoughts down in the comment section. I feel like this past week, I've kind of been struggling with the market to kind of find my groove. One day the market's really bullish. One day the market's very bearish, like yesterday. And then today, the market is all over the place, but then finally ends in the green, right? Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. I've closed my entire position on TQQQ. I walked away with 23K on the day. I have no open position on SQQQ. It's just been TQQQ today. And I announced all of my trades. Again, you guys hear me talk about them all the time. It's my LPP team. They are the only team that get to watch me trade live. If you tuned on into today's live stream, not just for our live trading session, but I hosted a free live stream for the Jackson Hole meeting. And you saw the market react, right? So originally the market sold off. We bounced off the moving average. I bought into that. I averaged up into it during that live session. And then you saw me lock in profits. It pulled on back. I bought into it. It sold off. Again, was not a perfect trade. I ended up cutting losses on that small trade. It aggressively sold off, looked at the 5-minute, waited for proper confirmation on this. And then once we started seeing more indication of an uptrend and higher highs and higher lows, I started adding more to it. And again, I kept my LPP team up to date the entire way. So you guys could see here, keeping them up to date with, testing the moving average on the 1 minute, showing signs of progress, getting ready to sell. So this is when I was originally talking about that. My goal was to sell at 38.50, but again, I will sell at any indication of a resistance. Very easy to see how bearish the market is on the 5-minute time frame. Right back to, again, I'm at 37.50. Adding more to TQQQ, and this is when we were getting that actual confirmation of when we broke above that resistance around 37.40, showing signs of higher highs and higher lows there. So therefore, obviously, if direction is favorable, I'll add more to it. And then testing same resistance for QQQ, new highs, power hours here. This was for the last hour. Today felt like dancing with the market. It was not perfect. I stepped on some toes, but I flowed with the market. I flowed with the leader, which was the overall market, right? And then my final, I have sold all of my TQQQ position. So the thing that I really enjoyed about today was just, I obviously had my target. The reason I said 38.50 is because of where we set that highs of on the day, right? So we sold off to lows of 36.35. I knew that by cutting losses quickly and allowing this thing to sell off, I just needed to allow it to find its bottom. And then when that reversal presented itself, for me not to be afraid to average up into it. So there's a lot of challenges along the way, as you guys could see. I mean, it's very easy to say now, oh, look, it came out according to plan. But look at this. It's a roller coaster of emotions, right? It runs up, it pulls right on back. It does show signs of higher lows. It runs up, pulls on back, runs up, pulls on back. This one was kind of scary, right? It runs up, consolidates, shows signs of a resistance, and then it finally breaks above, pulls right on back. You're like, dude, are we going to break above this resistance at 37.40? We finally do. We begin to show signs of progress, and then this is where it really begins to take off. This is really where most of the action happens. So even if you caught none of this, right, this is where the real action happened of higher highs, higher lows, above EMA, above moving average. This is the textbook setup. This is more of the risky trade, but this is when I really began to step on the gas and really made the difference. Why did I intend to sell right around this resistance? Well, we were already lacking progress, and then again, approaching previous highs. We're also running out of time. Market's set to close in 27 minutes. I just didn't want to overcomplicate. I'm very grateful for how today played out. And again, we have nothing but time. Today is just a day. I'm happy to end the week on a green note, and then we have all of next week, the week after that, and then the rest of the year, right? When it comes down to a lot of people asking the question of why was there so much volatility today? Well, again, there was the Jackson Hole meeting. It was something that a lot of people were anticipating. It's where Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, was supposed to give some insight on, monetary policy. And originally, the market was selling off because some people, and it's not going to surprise me in the next few days, the next few trading days, if the market begins to sell off, if they begin to say that, well, hey, the Federal Reserve is a little bit more hawkish than what we expected. I don't think that's the case at all. Feel free to rewatch the live stream that we hosted today and hear Jerome Powell speak. I mean, everything that he said was something that we've heard before. He said that they will continue to raise rates if data supports it, right? And he's always been very open about that they will continue to raise rates because their goal is 2%, and that has not changed. But he also has supported the case that, well, if economic data shows that we are slowing down and that there's no need for interest rate hikes, then yeah, I mean, we're done at that point raising rates. But he always leaves it open to the idea that if needed, they will raise rates. And I think rightfully so. When you're in that position, people need to be aware that if economic data begins to come in higher than expected, inflation showing that it's going back up, then yes, it shouldn't be a surprise that the Federal Reserve is going to step in and raise rates. And that's what I took today as, right? It's just supporting the case that yes, they will be proactive if needed and if the economic data supports it, right? They have no intention of cutting rates by this year. But again, we don't necessarily need to cut rates if inflation is still going down, right? The target is 2%. They're open to raising rates if needed, but they don't have to if economic data supports it. And I think that's exactly what we would want from someone that is the head of the Federal Reserve. So as of right now, market's taking it as a bullish reaction. But the last thing that I want to show you is, again, this is just one day. It's not going to surprise me if, again, market's been a little bit bearish for the past 2, maybe 3 weeks, right? Lower highs, lower lows. It's kind of going through a little rut right now. We're testing the moving average here. We can't be surprised if the market pulls on back. And that's essentially why I decided to close my position on TQQQ, just in case if we do see a pullback, that it doesn't end up catching me on Monday at market open, right? Right now, market seems to be fine, but over the weekend, anything can be reported. And then by market open on Monday, what if the market aggressively sells off? I don't want to be caught holding TQQQ. I'd rather be left open cash, right? And if the market goes up, then I can jump back into TQQQ. Or if the market goes down, then I can jump into SQQQ. I have options. And I think that's the best position to be in. So very happy with how today played out. It's either you worked really well with the market today or you didn't. I don't feel like there was an in-between because of how the market ended up performing. So I hope that, again, if you guys have any questions about what was said today with the Jackson Hole meeting, feel free to rewatch the live stream. If not, feel free to send me a direct message via Discord or via Instagram, and I'll send you the link. And other than that, again, I'm really excited to kick off next week and see what the market presents to us. There's obviously going to be challenges that are presented every single week, always new ways on how to approach the market, but that same criteria of waiting for direction to be clear and making sure that conditions are favorable are always my main focus. I try to keep my trading very simple. If you watch the live session from today, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where you got to see my entries, you got to see my exits, and you got to hear my thought process. That is what I do every single morning for my LPP team. It's the only team that I work with. And if you want the ability to watch me trade live every single day, click the second link in the description down below. You don't have to join, but if you want my help, if you want my assistance during those live sessions, then again, it's the second link in the description down below, and I'll see you as soon as Monday at market open for our live session. I appreciate your time. I hope that we're in your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.